Here in the heart of Raleigh for a huge ACC matchup. Number 6, NC State, fresh off its first loss of the season, now hosting Virginia in a rematch of a New Year's battle, as the Virginia Cavaliers want to prove New Year's Eve was nothing to the norm here in 2024. Welcome inside Valvano Arena with the longtime Towson coach, Derek Jordan. I'm Evan Budrovich. NC State tonight continues without its top post presence, River Baldwin. UVA, the best rebounding team in the ACC. So how does number 6 NC State bounce back tonight?
Well, Evan, it's going to have to start with the 4 other veterans. Isaiah James and Sanaya Rivers are going to really look to attack the basket. Madison Hayes with her perimeter shooting. And then look for Mimi Collins, who had a career-high 25 against Virginia in December, to lead the way for the Pack.
NC State, that first loss on Sunday, it came down to the closing seconds against Virginia Tech.
It really did. Pack gave up an 11-point lead, but then Sanaya Rivers right here with the drive to score and take the lead with 2 seconds to go. But the Hokies with the perfect response. You see the lob pass right here to Kitley off the back screen from Georgia Amore, and she hits the shot with 9/10 of a second left with 2 people on her. Great shot as the crowd goes wild. And then right here, last second heat for NC State, wasn't able to finish, but really a situation where it was just 2 great coaches dueling, a really awesome game, and I think we're going to see these 2 match up not just in February, but possibly even in March at Greensboro.
2 of the 6 ranked teams in the ACC, and Liz Kitley went off. That was a challenge for Westmore, defending post players. That continues tonight for Virginia. Excellent down low, and it starts with Cameron Taylor, the grad senior. What can Cameron provide for the Cavaliers tonight? Cameron
is one of the strongest post players in the ACC, and Coach Mox is going to look to get her the ball early and often tonight. She can post up in the paint. You see her here with a face-up drive and score. She also got a really nice spin move, as you see on that shot. And Taylor had 17 points and 15 rebounds in the first matchup against the Pack, and I think we'll see something very similar tonight.
Virginia, an excellent rebounding team. NC State, the most balanced team in terms of offense. And let's get this party started. 84th meeting all time, Cavaliers and Wolfpack here in Raleigh.
Classic ACC matchup.
And Sanaya Rivers on the opening tip for the Wolfpack. Won by James, and immediately the bucket, 5 seconds for the first points.
As we said, the veterans have got to step up, and James with the early, easy bucket.
Here's Coach Mox starting 5. Keep an eye on Kamora Johnson, the freshman point guard. 5 assists a game for Virginia. This is Paris Clark, right to the bucket, and an early miss. NC State starting 5, leaning on Isaiah James quickly to the basket, and a foul underneath on Clark. So this lineup without River Baldwin has leaned on Zoe Brooks, more of a 4 or 5 guard attack tonight.
Yes, Coach Moore, he likes to run the 4 out 1 in typically. We saw it with Alyssa Cunane. We've seen it with River Baldwin, but he's had to sort of adjust a little bit without River and have more of a 5 out offense. It's something we talked with the coaching staff earlier today, and it's something that they have worked on throughout the year, not just this week. But they really got a chance to execute it on Sunday and did very well.
River Baldwin remains day-to-day with an ankle injury. In her last game had 20+ points. That's a huge loss, at least for tonight in the time being.
Right, and for the Pack, it's good news to hear that she should be back for the stretch run of conference play.
Right now, Virginia, who lost by 12 against NC State. Dynamic battle in the paint. Here's a look for Johnson early, and a nice bucket. Cameron Taylor, her first points.
And there's that face-up jumper we talked about. She is so talented. The only thing that's held her back the first 3 ACC games has been foul trouble. She's fouled out once and had 4 fouls in the other 2 games.
Zoe Brooks, what a dime to Hayes, and a nice finish underneath. 6 quick points down low.
Yeah, excellent job. And you see where that 5 out comes into play there. There was no post help, and so Madison Hayes was able to get all the way to the rack and get an easy bucket.
Here's Smith on the attack. Alasia gets the start tonight with an injury to Jillian Brown. Nice find to Johnson, who's off.
Johnson's a very streaky shooter, so we'll see how she starts this game.
Nice penetration from James. And Derek, how about the attacking of the basket early from NC State?
Yeah, I think that's something key for NC State. And Isaiah James, in the last 3 games, she's only gotten in double digits once after doing it in all of the first 4 games in the first games of the season. So she's really coming to play tonight.
Nice ball movement. Virginia on the miss. Second chance is in. That's the presence of Taylor down low.
Taylor's going to be a force all night, and NC State had to go small, of course, without River. And so Madison Hayes is really going to have to work to box out either Brunel or Taylor, whoever she's on.
Zoe Brooks draws the foul on the attack. And that's the challenge for Virginia's defense. Has the size on the offensive end, but now guarding these 5 guards on the other side.
Right, particularly Madison Hayes. I think she's sort of the key tonight because she's playing the power forward position, but she's more of a shooter. She's more of a perimeter player, and they're going to be asking for Brunel or Taylor, one or the other. It's going to have to guard her. There's
Amaka Gugu-Hamilton, who was fantastic at Missouri State. Second year now in the ACC, and wants to avoid an 0-4 start. James continues to attack, and a miss that time. Now Kimora Johnson, the freshman, in transition. What a look on the run, and the shot fake's blocked by Collins, leading to a turnover. Virginia 2 turnovers, 2 of 6 shooting early. Brooks goes all the way to the bucket, and NC State 4 of 5 quickly.
Beautiful little finish with the right hand. She had to put a little English on it.
Smith tries the English, turned out more French on the miss.
I think this pace favors the Wolfpack.
What a pass to Hayes, and NC State cruising, forcing a timeout from Coach Mox.
Coach Mox is not pleased with how this has started for the Pack. They're really pushing the ball and getting a lot of easy buckets.
NC State rolling up 8. Welcome back to Raleigh. It's a red-hot start. NC State 4 of 5 from the field.
Yes, and Evan, the big question coming in was how would NC State respond to their first loss of the season? They've come out red-hot. They're playing hard. Virginia's a team that really comes out with a lot of energy, but in this game, NC State's been the one full of energy and attacking in transition to get those easy buckets.
What has fueled this transition play for NC State?
Well, I think just a commitment to push, a commitment to get the rebound, knowing that you're playing a smaller lineup with Mimi at the 5. So you want to try and beat those players down the floor when you've got the speed advantage.
Here's Taylor down low. That's been the answer for Virginia.
When she gets it that low, she's almost unstoppable. Very deep in the paint, going against a little bit of an undersized 5-player in Mimi Collins. That's going to be a tough matchup for NC State. 6
points for Taylor early. Nice pass to Hayes, who cannot continue her red-hot start from Sunday, a career-high 21. Now Johnson, the freshman, showing off the skills, but a miss. Johnson there on the board, and Taylor heads to the line. Now that's the mismatch Virginia can exploit on this end, Derek.
Right, and Taylor is such a good rebounder, especially on the offensive end. We'll take a look here at the drive from Johnson, and nice little scoop. She doesn't get to finish, but you see Taylor going hard and not getting the finish, but getting the 2 free throws to try and pull Virginia a little bit closer.
Cameron Taylor, the Peoria, Illinois product, grad senior. What a free throw shooter, 88%. Showing the skills right there.
She started her career at Marquette on the 2020 Big East All-Freshman team and has really thrived in her 3 years at UVA.
This is a strength of UVA, 79% as a team, best in the ACC. And the broadcaster jinx is alive and well.
Yes, it is. I have a feeling that she won't miss many, though.
Rivers on attack mode. There's a miss. Wolfpack's first miss in 2 minutes. Now Virginia down 5 on the road. Another turnover. That's 3 early. Leads to James. Nice look to Brooks, who runs the lane. And NC State, Derek, living in transition.
They are, and really great spacing right there. James was able to just get enough room so that Brooks would be able to get the dump-off pass for the easy layup.
Average possession 5 seconds or less for Westmore's club tonight. Johnson on the attack. Nice little floater, and old school bank shots open.
Yeah, she's got an old man's game, and she can really attack and finish in a variety of ways.
So does Zoe Brooks, who pulls up the long 2.
This is a battle of 2 of the top freshmen in the country, both McDonald's All-Americans, and we're going to see them battle for the next 4 years for sure.
You pit these 2 and Hannah Hidalgo of Notre Dame. That'd be a fun discussion for Freshman of the Year.
Yes, it will. I think they're all 3 going to get a lot of votes.
And Brooks says, don't forget about me. A steal for Zoe. Goes to the bucket. And 1 for Zoe Brooks.
Zoe Brooks with the flex right there. She took it hard. Let's take a look at the steal right here by Brooks as she takes it away from Sam Brunel, the 5th-year senior. And what I like about this at the finish, she's going to keep it in her offhand on the left so that Brunel cannot get the block. And not only did she get 2, she'll go to the line for 1 more as she flexes for the crowd.
This is Brooks' 5th career start. And a talented freshman, Derek. Big development moment here tonight.
It really is. And we knew coming into the season how much talent she had. And she would start on most teams in the country, but with the 5 veterans coming back, she was going to come off the bench. But with the different injuries that State's had, she started a bunch of games, and every time she started, she's been electric.
Has 2 games with 10 assists as well. A good distributor of the rock. And here's Yonta Vaughn, the new point guard at District Heights, Maryland for Virginia. Cavaliers haven't scored in 2 minutes. We have a lost shoe on the court, and then we have a lost ball out of bounds. That's the extra defender he didn't think you had in the boot.
Yeah, that had to be a little bit of a distraction to be passing a shoe to Sanaya Rivers.
It's like cuddling and chewing gum at the same time. Good luck.
Yeah, it's not a skill that I could have.
The good news, Sanaya plays well with both feet.
Right.
Halfway through this first quarter, all NC State early as Collins extends the lead for three.
Now that's something you'll see Virginia do a lot. They're going to hedge hard on that ball screen. NC State was prepared, had Mimi Collins pop out for the wide open three.
NC State is 8 of 11 early in this game. Big response after their first loss Sunday. Johnson looks to respond. That one hits everything. Offensive board for London Clarkson. And Vaughn unable to hit. Virginia 4 of 13 shooting. Oh my goodness, the pass from Rivers. Hayes is all over it. That's a quarterback, and Sanaya Rivers down there.
I don't think I've seen NC State push the ball this much all season, but they have really made it a point of emphasis. Coach Mox had to use another timeout for Virginia as it's starting to get away from him, 24-9.
And we'll take this timeout. Midway through this first quarter, it's all NC State led by Zoe Brooks. 7 points tonight. And Derek, the way she's attacking the bucket, that's been a game changer for the NC State offensively.
Yes, it has. Just one more weapon for NC State. And there's just so many weapons to guard with James, Rivers, and now Brooks that it's hard to know who you're going to put your best defenders on. And NC State right now on a pace to score 192 points.
Without River Baldwin tonight, Brooks in the starting five. Such a factor with those 7 points. As Taylor off on the jumper, a 4 of 13 start. The speed right now of NC State, it's different than we've seen in the past, Derek. How so?
It really is. And like I said, I haven't seen him push this much in transition, but that must have been a point of emphasis for the staff coming into this game. Collins
immediately to work, and a rare miss.
Virginia's really struggled to shoot the ball in their ACC games this season, and that's continued. They only shot 27.8 against NC State the first time in December, and we're seeing a little bit more of that tonight.
Here's Johnson, 5 assists tonight, yet to distribute 1. Taylor, a deep bucket, and an early offense for Taylor. She's 3 of 5. That'll stay here with Virginia. How do you get a bucket now? This is a 12-2 run for NC State. How does Virginia snap this run?
Well, you know, Coach Mox talks a lot about Taylor. She's so talented, she can hit that mid-range jumper, but she settles for it a little too much. I think she's going to want to get Taylor in deep here, some sort of post-up coming off the inbounds play to really attack Collins underneath.
Here's Taylor on the drive, blocked by Collins. Second deflection for NC State.
Collins really stepped up to the challenge there. Said, you're not going to just get an easy bucket on me.
That one was chucked at the basket there. A little State Fair-esque for Isaiah James heading the free throw line.
You know, one of the things Coach Moore talked about in the end of the Virginia Tech game was that he felt like the offense got a little stagnant in those last 8 minutes. They had missed 11 shots in a row and in that game, and so tonight it's clear that he is telling his players to run, to push, to be aggressive, take it to the basket, and so far it's been very successful.
Here's Isaiah James from the free throw line. A rare miss. First miss of the night for the Wolfpack, who came in 37th in the country in attempting free throws. 73% as a team. So in a matchup where 2 clubs get to the line of town, we've only had 4 free throws total. That's how the game works.
Right. Whenever you prep for something, something different always happens, and both coaches will have to work through it.
Caden Lawson, the Cleveland, Ohio product, checks in. Virginia has not found a bucket 0 of its last 5. Clock under 10 for Vaughn. Lawson thought about it. Behind the back. Tough look with 3. Oh, and it goes in. Creativity.
Wow, a Sports Center top 10 play right there. She was running, the shot clock was running down. She had no choice but to just be creative.
They call her Miss Lawson, and she's for real with that bucket. James, a nice find. Collins is all alone. And a miss for NC State. Back-to-back misses.
There's that ball screen hedge. NC State's going to get that shot open a lot for Mimi.
Vaughn, nice find underneath. Tough spin move for Clarkson. That one's a bit off.
Nice spin by Virginia. Coach Mox frustrated that they're getting a couple of better shots now, and they're still not falling.
Wolfpack have kept the same 5 on the court the last 7 minutes. 9 of 14 shooting for the Wolfpack. Collins has to step up big time with the loss of River Baldwin tonight. She heads to the free throw line.
Here she goes with the spin move, running out of time on the shot clock, and was able to knock it down. Caden Lawson.
She's beating me in a game of horse with that move.
Right. She started 18 games last year for Virginia, so she has the talent. She's had to come off the bench this year, but you can see why she's been one of the better players for the Hoos in her career.
Back-to-back free throws from Mimi Collins, and the Wolfpack are 6 of 7 from the line. Johnson directing traffic. Here's Lawson, catch and shoots. A bit off on the 3. Virginia in ACC play, only 20% from 3. That's got to be an emphasis tonight, Derek.
It really does. They're last in the league in conference games in three-point shooting, and there's been some games this year they've hit 15 threes against Tulane and 12 against Fordham. But once conference play hit, we talked to Coach a little bit about what do you think it might be, and she felt like they've got the yips a little bit, just getting a little bit nervous because they hit him in practice. But we'll see if they can shake out of that as this game goes along.
Only 6 threes a game now in the conference for Virginia, as Hayes attacks the bucket with aggression, unable to finish it off. Now in transition, Paris Clark. Look at Paris into the wall, and that's the Eiffel Tower down low. Rivers with the block.
Paris, another transfer for Virginia, this one out of Arizona. She was a North Carolina or New York Gatorade Player of the Year in 2022, so you know she's got the talent. She just got to put it all together.
Coach Mox noted we need the dog factor in Clark. Haven't developed that a bit here late, as Olivia McGee is unable to hit. Nice board for Brunell. Sam Brunell down low is trapped. Good little spin move and a nice creative bucket there.
Yeah, and that was an example of Madison Hayes was in good position, but just the size of Brunell and the force, she was able to get the rebound and then take it back up strong.
The Notre Dame transfer cuts it to 14. Here's Collins again, testing Brunell defensively, bangs bodies and a miss. Good clear out by London Clarkson, who was poked in the face earlier this year. Where's that mask, like Rip Hamilton?
Right, they talked about it just being a precaution, but I'm sure it makes her more comfortable out on the court.
Also makes her a lot tougher with that look. Here's a steal for Zoe Brooks with the old school goggles, and then she kicks it away. It's a slip and slide here in Raleigh in this first quarter. I thought ice skating was in December.
Right, maybe we got some Carolina Hurricanes coming out to scout with all the ice.
Just minutes away from the home of the NHL Hurricanes. Great point here at Valvano Arena. Number 6 NC State, 9 of 16 shooting. The story of this first quarter.
Virginia getting the switch on Brunell. She's down low against Zoe Brooks.
Tough look, Paris Clark. And Virginia can't buy a bucket in this first frame. All 5 starters have played every second for NC State, and Rivers does not look fatigued with the pass, and Collins cleans it up.
Great job with the attack by Sanaya Rivers. You see that excitement and that fun back in the Wolfpack.
NC State, 4 of the 5 have scored. So much balance, and Hayes a kick ball here. Here's the first sub of the night after this fantastic bucket. The note, Brooks is out and Lacey Steele checks in, the Edmond, Oklahoma product, true freshman guard.
Lacey had 8 big points in the first half against Virginia Tech, 2 big threes. Moment was not too big for her. We look for her to earn some more playing time as the season goes along.
We have an offensive foul here on Virginia. That's Brunell with the push. Only our second foul, pardon me, 5 fouls for Virginia.
It's been a quick moving quarter though. A lot of excitement.
Johnson wanted to check in, came a bit late to the table. So the Wolfpack can hold for the final shot.
I would imagine we'll see another ball screen for Sanaya to either attack that hedge or throw it right back to Mimi for the open look.
Clock to 6. Rivers bangs into Paris, and that's a foul on Paris Clark, which now means free throws the rest of the quarter. defensively there, you want to trap Rivers, but also not give away 2 free throws, right?
Right. Virginia just sort of bailed him out right there. I think Sanaya was trying to do the fake handoff, see if she could turn the corner. And James and Rivers actually sort of bumped into each other. Virginia had the perfect coverage. And then, as I said, bailed him out and gave up 2 free throws.
Rivers is 71% free throw shooter. Takes advantage of the free shots.
Sanaya had missed 3 games with injury right before conference play started, but she scored in double figures in all 3 games since, playing over 40 minutes a game, with that overtime game against Florida State being factored in there.
So now all 5 starters have scored for the Wolfpack. Last chance for Yanta Vaughn. Vaughn the pass. Clarkson lost track of the clock. And a high-scoring quarter. NC State only 62 on Sunday, but a 31-point start tonight.
NC State wanted to lean on their veterans in this first half, this first quarter, and you see Mimi Collins with the big 3 here for the Wolfpack. And then this pass ahead to Madison Hayes for the bucket. The Pack has gotten everything they wanted to be up by 18.
Let's turn the clock back to 2004. Derek Jordan, Evan Budjevic here. Derek, you were coach on the Towson staff against Amaku Aguga Hamilton, longtime standout at Hofstra All-Conference, and you were part of the scouting report back in the day 20 years ago.
Yeah, and Coach Mox was very difficult to guard. She was such a strong post, a tenacious rebounder, and we tried to keep the ball out of her hands, not successfully though, because in my career, Towson, Hofstra beat us 5 out of 6 times. But really, when you talk about Coach Mox or any coach, you'd say that they take on the personality of their coach, and that's what we're seeing in this Virginia team.
So Virginia down 18 after this first quarter. How do the Cavaliers mount a comeback early?
I think it's got to be more energy. It's got to be getting back on defense. It's got to be going aggressively to the boards. I think their shots will start to fall, but it's all the other little things that they've been missing out on in the first quarter that must step up.
Good kick out. McGee shoots. There's a good start. First 3 for Virginia tonight.
That's going to give Virginia a lot more confidence. See the ball go through the hoop.
Virginia entered this game only 20% from 3 in the conference. Lineup change of note. Taylor Lauterbach, the Kansas State transfer, down low. She has wingspan for days. Battling NC State substitute Lizzie Williamson in the 3 for Madison Hayes.
Virginia went to a 2-3 zone there. We haven't seen that very much from them on film, but trying to slow this Wolfpack attack and unsuccessfully on that first try.
McGee on the attack. Williamson a presence. And Williamson wins the battle. So without River Baldwin, big minutes for Lizzie Williamson, the Southern Utah transfer. And James steps out of bounds. How important will that post depth be for NC State tonight?
Well, it's something that NC State's going to need not just tonight, but in the next 2 or 3 weeks when River Baldwin is out of the game. And Lizzie gave some great minutes, 8 minutes against Virginia Tech, really forcing Liz Kitley, the ACC Player of the Year, into some tough shots. And so she's earned another chance out here, particularly against Lauterbach, who's 6'7".
Baldwin remains out with an ankle injury. She's sitting there on the bench for NC State. Can Virginia exploit that size advantage? Instead, Rivers with a block. Sanaya runs the break. Little step through and a short layup. Now it's Alexia Smith. Gets her first start in conference play. Smith the spin. Nice finish in the lane. And that's more speed and effort on transition for Virginia, Derek.
Right. We've seen right away that Virginia has really started to step up a little bit in their intensity.
James, good ball, steal, the extra pass. And this is something Coach Mox noted, the effort and intensity, that was not there against NC State on New Year's Eve. James, the long 2. Not a conventional college shot anymore, my friend, and it comes up short.
Right, and I think that NC State doesn't want to settle for those jump shots right there. They want to keep attacking the way they were earlier in the game.
Here's a long jumper. That's knocked in. Good shot for Cameron Taylor, and a quick start, 7-3 for Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia trying to claw their way back into it. We talked about what's it going to take. It's going to take the energy, the effort, and the rebounding. So far, they haven't given up any offensive rebounds.
Switching into a zone defense. Hayes, the long 2, and a solution for NC State.
Madison's been shooting so well from the perimeter that even if we want to attack, even if NC State wants to attack, anytime Hayes has got an open shot, she can take it.
Kamora Johnson, the true freshman, sizes up Steele, beats her down, and a nice baseline look. I love the creativity from the freshman.
It's plays like that that show you why she was a McDonald's All-American and so highly rated. And she's from Charlottesville, so to be able to play for her hometown team is something that she's probably dreamed of for a long time.
Johnson has a high motor in the eyes of Coach Mox, and we're seeing that tonight.
Yes, we are. That the only thing that you could say about her is that sometimes maybe she forces things a little bit, but Coach Mox is gonna deal with that problem because she does so many great things with the ball most of the time.
Kamora Johnson, not only a multiple-time freshman of the week in the ACC, but has shown with 4 assists a game. It's not just scoring and rebounding, but it's dishing the rock.
Yeah, she's fearless with the ball. She will attack and really look for the open player, and is not going to worry. This crowd, this sold-out crowd, is not going to rattle her at all.
Look at this triple team on Taylor. Smith finds space, way short. That snaps a 4 for 5 start for Virginia. Rivers, one-woman wrecking crew, kicks to Collins and gets her on board. James enters the lane. Tough look with the left. Williamson the board, and she's stripped. Numbers here for Virginia. Open 3, McGee. Oh, that rattled out. Good look for Virginia. You got to like that as a coach.
Yeah, that would have been a big shot for the Hoos. Could have cut it to 11.
Steele on the shot fake. Savvy move from the freshman.
Yeah, the freshman from Oklahoma is getting more comfortable every game. Took her time right there. Got the one dribble pull up. Type of thing you work on in practice almost every day, and she really executed it.
Johnson behind the back, gets some space, and long jumpers here for Virginia. Loose ball on the floor and an offensive rebound. Johnson attacks. McGee for 3, and her offensive board, Smith. Cavaliers taking advantage of 9 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, when you're not shooting well, the best thing you do, keep going to the glass.
Leading to a 3. 3rd time's the charm for the freshman.
And there's Johnson. We talked about she's a streaky shooter. That one right there could light her on fire for the rest of this half.
2nd 3 for Virginia in this quarter.
Virginia's gone back to the man-to-man here.
Rivers wanted a charge. Grant not wished. Here's a kick to Steele. And Lacey connects on the 3rd triple for NC State.
As we talked about, she had two threes against Virginia Tech. Gets another one tonight.
Look at McGee backing down Steele. And a foul on the shot will send Olivia McGee to the free throw line. We'll take a timeout here in the 2nd quarter. Virginia mounting a little comeback. Let's see what happens here in Raleigh. Late in the 2nd quarter, Virginia +5 on the boards, and these are 2 of the 10 best teams in the country on the glass. Big number though, Derek, 10 offensive rebounds for the Cavaliers. How will that play a factor tonight for UVA?
Well, when you're a team that doesn't shoot very well, you've got to crash the boards. And when we talked to Coach Mox about rebounding, she said it's part of our identity. It's a point of emphasis from day one in practice. They've got 10 offensive boards compared to just 1 for NC State, which I know will frustrate Coach Moore on the other sideline.
Offensive rebounding has led to this free throw for Olivia McGee. And that's allowed Virginia in this 2nd quarter to outscore NC State by 3.
Right, and Virginia only 12 points in the 1st quarter, has already surpassed that with now 15 after those, with now 14 after those free throws.
Cuts the lead to 14. Here's a zone defense for Virginia out of the timeout. Zoe Brooks has returned for the Wolfpack. She had 9 points in that 1st quarter. Look at this ball movement. Everyone touching it for NC State. Collins back to Brooks. Clock to 7. Rivers steps into a 3. And a good board by Virginia. Now it's Johnson. The true freshman heaves and way off on the 3. Again, though, the effort on the glass earns a possession for UVA.
Right, and we're just going to say about Johnson, I was going to give her credit for being smart to pull it back out. She didn't have the numbers, then all of a sudden she shot the 3 right there. One of those freshman mistakes that maybe Coach Mox wouldn't love, but Virginia bails her out with the offensive board.
Nice dime to Taylor, and that time Johnson uses her vision.
Exactly. That was, she had maybe the open 3, but with the shot fake, she drew both defenders, dumped it off to Taylor for the easy layup. Now that is the kind of play that Coach Moxes want to see more and more.
Taylor is 3rd in the conference in assists behind Hannah Hidalgo, the standout at Notre Dame. Brooks to the free throw line. It's a tough look for State. Rebound Collins. Look at the ball movement here. Steal for three. She's been a zone breaker all night. Two triples.
Yes, she had. Came in with a reputation as being a great shooter out of high school, and it is now coming to fruition for the Pack.
That's the 15th three for Steele this year. Virginia had this down to 12. McGee slips. There's a steal. Rivers comes out with it. Good ball movement to Brooks for three. And the triples are falling. We have an injury timeout on the court as NC State. Derek, their ability to make plays off of turnovers, that's been a huge part tonight.
It's been a huge storyline for the Pack, and what I'd love to see is the freshmen. We talked about in the first 9.5 minutes. First 9.5 minutes, there was nobody off the bench, but here's Lacey Steele coming off the bench, hitting her second three, and then Zoe Brooks, the other talented freshman, right here on the wing, pulling up for three. This is the greatest recruiting class in NC State history, and they're showing why tonight.
A program of 50 years. We see Virginia down. That's Olivia McGee slowly walking to the team bench.
Now
Tabs on that with Lydia Johnson, the athletic trainer there.
Now I have a lot of friends on the 2000 team and the 91 team that say, here, we're going to take a look at the injury right there. Looks like she might have sprained an ankle right there. And
let's hope Lydia's okay. She'll get treated by the AT, Lydia.
But some of my friends on some of the older teams here at NC State said they didn't have the recruiting rankings back in the 80s, so they might fight me on that stat. But according to ESPN, this is the greatest recruiting class in school history. 20 combined points from the Wolfpack freshmen tonight.
Here's Johnson, a fellow freshie. That's a tip pass. Smith has it. Back to Johnson for three. Welcome to the freshman class. Big triple.
Big triple. You saw that was a rhythm three right there. You could just tell she had the confidence as soon as she got it. Had the open look, knocked it down.
There are no freshman jitters from the young guards tonight, both squads. Now Hayes against the zone, finds Collins with the foul. NC State's ball movement, impressive, Derek.
Yeah, getting the ball to the short corner. Madison Hayes has to draw the post player, then the dump off to Mimi for the finish. Great job with the zone offense. Let's take a look here. We'll see the ball reversed all the way across. 4 different players, maybe even 5 touch it right there.
There's your 5th.
Yes, and Mimi with the finish and the cheer. We know in the last game against Virginia, there was a couple of technical fouls for
There was
cheering.
some ire over the terms "and one," so that time a little more vocal, less words, but more energy.
Yes, Mimi with just the strong cheer right there, and the Pack players were able to enjoy it without getting the tee.
Remember, NC State only scored 62 points on Sunday. This is a striking difference offensively. Johnson wants a response, and Brooks had the board for a moment. Here's a feisty battle. Love the hands there from Alexia Smith.
And I love the hustle from both teams. You know, when you get into into the ACC play, it's going to be a battle every night. And both teams, even with 18-point lead for NC State, with the way both teams are scoring, this game is definitely still up in the air, and they're playing very hard.
The Minnesota transfer, Alexia Smith, fighting for that board. The jump ball gives the Wolfpack possession.
Virginia going to stay in that zone.
Here's Steele, wants a third three, and delivers from the corner. What a boost from the freshman off the bench.
Lacey Steele, her career high has been 11 against Cincinnati. She's already matched that tonight, and we're still in the first half.
Smith breaks the press. Can't convert. Rebound, Lawson. Taylor, long 2. That's her game. And it goes over the backboard as Taylor is 5 of 9 tonight. What do you feel about those looks of your Virginia, the long jumpers?
Well, here we're going to take a quick look first from Lacey Steele. As I said, that's her 11th point of the night with that 3. And you can't underestimate the confidence that she built going into a sold-out Castle Coliseum at Virginia Tech. Crowd going crazy, hitting huge buckets there. I think she finally feels like she is a part of this Wolfpack.
This is a 6-0 NC State run. Rivers dribbling the air out of the ball right now. Finds Collins. Back to Rivers. Look at that filthy move off the window.
We saw that exact same handoff and drive at the end of the game against Virginia Tech, and it was just a filthy move by Rivers to finish.
Johnson off on the 3. Taylor in on the board. And let's see, this foul is on NC State. That's Collins committing her first.
55 points for the Wolfpack so far. They are just so efficient right now on offense, and Coach Mox, give her credit. She's tried zone, she's tried to go back to man. She's thrown different looks at the pack, and everything she's thrown, NC State's had an answer.
Wes Moore with some questions there for official Saif Esho. So the offensive rebounding for Virginia, keeping the Cavaliers in it. 10 offensive boards. Yantavon feeds the post. Here's Taylor. High angle and a nice shot.
You can see her talent every time she touches the ball. She is such a strong post player. Definite leader for the Cavaliers.
Inside a minute to play in this high-scoring first half. Wolfpack with 4 in double figures in the opening frame. Steele is included in that list with 11. Finds Brooks. Zoe pressured. Hayes short on the 3. Yantavon dressed it like it's 30 degrees outside with that long undershirt. Look at that spin move and a miss. Hayes comes out with it.
Wolfpack can hold for the last shot if they see it. I think they do.
NC State 58% shooting in this first half.
Very entertaining first half for both teams. Hall of Fame announcer Debbie Antonelli says, shoot till your arm farts off, and both teams are doing it.
Clock to 7. Rivers dicing up the D and hits the jumper. A 57-point first half for NC State. What a response in the first 20 minutes.
Impressive first half for the Wolfpack, and Sanaya Rivers puts the exclamation point on it right there to give the Wolfpack a 23-point lead.
An electric atmosphere here in Reynolds Coliseum. That's all Wolfpack through the first 20 minutes. One of the highest scoring first halves of the year for number 6 NC State. No rust after its opening loss on Sunday. Great first half of basketball here at Belvano Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina with Derek Jordan. I'm Evan Budrovich. NC State 23 points in fast break, living in transition. How did the Wolfpack speed this game up?
Well, Coach Moore had talked about the pack was a little stagnant against Virginia Tech at the end. So the emphasis was push the ball ahead, get the rebound, get it ahead, look for open opportunities. And so far, they've been doing it all night.
NC State with that offense started quickly, and Virginia had a counter. Cameron Taylor, great post presence, and ended up with 13 points in that first half.
Yeah, Cameron Taylor's looked really special. 13 points, as you mentioned, for Virginia. She's got the perimeter shot here, the post up, and so that's one player in double figures for Virginia. But when you start to talk about the Wolfpack, they've got 4 players in double figures. Here we'll get to take a look at some of the pack scores right here. Mimi Collins with an early 3. The 4 players for the pack that were in double figures, Collins, Hayes, Brooks, and Lacey Steele, are not even the 2 top scorers for NC State. So you really get an idea of how balanced this team is.
And how about this play by Zoe Brooks, 2 of her 12.
All spectacular play there, and I love the finish with the flex, showing how strong she is, finishing with the left hand against Sam Brunel.
NC State's had 3 players score 20+ in conference games. You think the first 3? Tonight, it could be any of these 4. Who's your pick? Who's going for 20 tonight?
I think Zoe Brooks. I feel like the freshman is just sort of feeling it. I think she's going to get a lot more opportunities in transition. But as we know, Mimi Collins had 25 against Virginia the first time. So maybe I'll hedge my bets between Brooks and Collins.
4 in double figures for the Wolfpack. And Sanaya Rivers isn't one of those. Shanders is the 2nd leading scorer.
Right, James and Rivers, the top 2 scorers for NC State, don't come onto that list, but they've been contributing in other ways. We know right at the beginning, James really came out and lit it on fire in the first couple of minutes to set the tone for the Wolfpack. And then Sanaya Rivers distributing the basketball is always a factor. So, been really impressed with this Wolfpack team today, and Virginia just has not had an answer for them defensively.
The Virginia squad needs a big win to avoid the 0-4 start. Look at that number of points off turnovers. And that was mostly in the first quarter, but that's how NC State got up 18, and they've been cruising since.
Yeah, I think that NC State, the question, as we've mentioned before, how would they respond to the first loss? And their intensity was very strong, and Virginia just didn't seem like they were ready to handle it right off the top. Virginia plays hard, but NC State was just playing a little harder right there in the first quarter.
This is a rematch of a New Year's Eve matchup that NC State pulled out in a 3rd quarter. They were plus 20. in the third. And Derek, now 2 weeks into conference, NC State 2-1 in the league. What have you seen tonight from the top 10 Wolfpack?
Well, as you know, NC State was picked 8th in the conference to start the season, and they've shown that they're much better than that. I think you see, as I mentioned, the balanced scoring, that when teams come onto the court, they don't know who necessarily they've got to focus their attention on, and that is a big weapon to have as teams try and scout you. As conference play goes on, you really start to know the teams, and if you've got and here we'll take a look at
only 2 undefeated teams left. South Carolina, UCLA, with both Baylor being upset last night in Big 12 action and NC State going down. It is a topsy-turvy top 10 right now.
It really is. And when you talk about that top 10, you're really talking about who's fighting for those #1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. I know it's early to talk about that, but South Carolina and UCLA are sort of running away with 2 of them. But NC State, Baylor, Stanford, I really think with the power of the ACC that whoever emerges as the champion of the ACC, be it Virginia Tech, NC State, Florida State, one of those teams I think is going to claim that 4th #1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
So we start this second half. NC State lived in transition in the first half, +20. So Clark goes right to work, and a quick block for Hayes. How important are these first 5 minutes if you're the Cavaliers on the road, down 20?
Well, I think Coach Mox wants to really see her team show some heart, show some toughness, and they've done that as the season's gone along, but she wants to see that they're not going to quit.
Johnson is fouled on the drive, so the true freshman earns the foul. And then some friendly fire there with Brunell going down. Might have been a wet spot on the court.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to catch that, but Johnson attacking, that's something that she's known for, and that's how Virginia, they're going to try and get back in the game by attacking. Here we'll see what happened.
And watch Brunell at the end of this play. A little slip and slide.
Yeah, here she comes over.
Who put that banana peel there?
That'll go on the blooper reel.
That's like Mario Kart when you spin out your tires on lap 3 of Rainbow Road. The OGs know what I'm saying. And Zoe Brooks fights for the basketball. Good save by Smith. And Johnson takes care of it. That's the type of effort that Coach Mox wants to see tonight.
Yeah, it was a tough break for NC State there, just a loose ball, but Virginia staying aggressive, playing hard. Going to see if they can work their way back in this third quarter.
Remember, it was NC State +20 in the third when these teams met on New Year's Eve.
Right, Virginia was leading at halftime by 1 before NC State imposed their will at Charlottesville.
Collins to the bucket, draws the foul on Brunell. And free throws 11 and 12 of the night for the Wolfpack.
Brunell was the #6 player in the country coming out of high school, had a phenomenal high school career, and one of the top recruits, went to Notre Dame, reached the Sweet 16. Injuries have slowed her down a little bit.
This Sunday afternoon, women's basketball is rolling all day long. It starts off with Pitt and BC at noon. Then #15 Louisville hosts Wake. North Carolina, who lost tonight at Florida State, battles Virginia at 4 o'clock to wrap things up. And how about Florida State now 4-1 in the league with Tanaya Latson and crew? That's a really good squad.
That is an excellent squad. Their only loss in overtime here to NC State. They're a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Carolina drops from the unbeatens in league play. Johnson on a spin move. Paris Clark enters the lane through everybody on the defense and rolls it home.
Great finish there by Clark.
Tough angle for the Arizona transfer. Would make Rob Gronkowski proud, a longtime Wildcat. Brooks sizes up Clark. James says, thank you very much. I'll take that ball. And then come up strong on the bank as it goes out of bounds. Hold on a second. Officials conferring. And it stays with NC State.
Keep it with NC State here. Virginia runs sort of an awkward 2-3 zone on the inbounds, and they'll immediately match up. Sometimes NC State can get a mismatch here if they set it up right.
There's the zone.
And then they'll quickly match up, see if they can get a post on a little. Good job by Virginia there.
Clock ticks to 10. Tough look, Rivers. And Smith fights for the board. And a foul here on Collins, reaching over the back of Smith.
That's one of those Coach Moore's not going to be that upset about it from his player Collins. We'll get a second look. 2 players being very aggressive for the rebound.
Yeah, grabbing that arm of Smith.
Yeah, Collins definitely had her arm in there. Tried to pull it out before the foul got called, but got caught.
That's a football rugby scrum when the ball gets loose.
Yeah, those are plays where working in the weight room pays off.
Taylor's working hard, but she lost it. Now James has Johnson on skates. What a pass! And NC State converts.
Great job there by James with the drop-off and the speed. More transition for the Wolfpack. We saw it in the first half.
5 points in transition, Derek.
It has been that kind of night for NC State.
Extending this lead to 23. Nice drive. Johnson short. Despite the size mismatch, NC State holding strong defensively. And now we'll go the other way. Last touch by Zoe Brooks.
Here we'll take a look at NC State in transition again. James had the Who's on skates, a nice little drop off to Collins. And I think as this season goes along, particularly when River Baldwin has to be out with injury.
I love James there just jogging up the court after passing the ball.
Oh, she knew it was going in for sure. That was a great job.
That's the iconic LeBron James, Dwayne Wade moment underneath the basket. You've seen the pictures online.
Yes, for sure.
Here's the true freshman Johnson finding Katie Pauley. And then Johnson off on the 3. Oh, how about this pass? James to Rivers. Sanaya does the same to Brooks, and she jogs down the court on the beautiful dime.
Yeah, Sanaya Rivers already going with the point there. She knew that was in, and that was another push the ball ahead, even though Rivers didn't get it right away.
That's Phillip Rivers, Sanaya Rivers, all in the same NC State company here with great passers. Johnson fouled on the drive.
Phillip, the all-time great quarterback for the Wolfpack, had his number retired.
What do you think? Some elements of Phillip here on this dime?
Oh, definitely. That she just whips it in there. And then the nice fake by Zoe to get Brunel to go by, and the easy layup. And then the casual point to Sanaya. I think you see how much fun this Wolfpack team has together.
A quiet 6 assists, but impactful here for Sanaya Rivers, 4th time in ACC play. Taylor Johnson struggling at the free throw line tonight. And good news, there's a fat head of Phillip Rivers in the crowd right there.
There he is, making an appearance. Taylor, though, not bothered by Phillip.
Mallory Collier will check in for NC State, the freshman at Millington, Tennessee.
Mallory's had some great minutes this season.
And these are big minutes for the post players. Williamson, Collier with Baldwin out, needing production down there.
Right. There's going to be some games in the next 2 to 3 weeks where they're going to need to make an impact. This is a chance to build that confidence.
How about James keeping her dribble, finding Collier, banging bodies down there, and free throws for the freshman.
I really like what she did there. First she got stable, and then she tried to go up with the left hand, so that the only way Virginia could stop the ball was to foul. Very good execution by Mallory.
It won't count as an assist, but 16 dimes on 23 buckets if you're West Moore's club.
Anything over 50% of assists to made baskets is solid. So 16 out of 23, that's really, really strong.
Making sure Clarkson was okay. That's Coach Mox in year 2 here at Virginia. Excellent free throw shooting tonight. 12 of 13 for the Wolfpack. Virginia Tech leads the conference at nearly 80%.
Those are just free points, and coaches obviously make a big emphasis on it, working on it in practice, trying to simulate game situations. Working out well for the Pack.
Maybe not as much as the Creighton Blue Jays. 84% leading the country. As Vaughn gets into her bag, a nice jumper. Deonta Vaughn's got some spark. She's got a nice weapon off the bench here.
Yeah, she really has. She's got good speed off the dribble to drive, and so that pull-up jumper is deadly.
Hayes shows off her jumper and knocks in the 3. 7 triples tonight for NC State.
Yeah, we've seen, as we talked about, anytime Virginia goes to that zone, they've gotten some open looks. That time against the man-to-man, off the dribble.
A traveling violation on Virginia. Only the 8th turnover for the Hoos.
And this is the big part of the game where you want to stay clean. You want to keep executing, not getting those silly turnovers. Coach Mock's not pleased, going to go to the substitution for the next dead ball.
There's James trying every dribble in her bag. A little creative look at the basket. No.
Good defense there by the freshman Johnson.
And a foul on James after the miss.
Maybe a little bit of frustration right there, but NC State tried to go pick and roll. Mallory Collar ended up driving or rolling to the basket and not really getting James open, so she had to take a tough shot.
Olivia McGee, true freshman guard, comes in. Virginia has not been able to chip into this deficit in the second half. Vaughn goes for it. Barely touches rim. Brooks versus Johnson, two excellent freshman guards. Rivers. Oh, hits Rivers on the back end and goes out of bounds.
Cameron Taylor with the block right there.
And we'll take the media timeout. NC State remains up 27. No rust for the number 6 team in the country. Here's what's cooking around the ACC Conference. Big win for number 13 Virginia Tech, taking out NC State on Sunday. Liz Kitley, of course, the game winner. UNC, a huge road win at Notre Dame. And then, of course, falling tonight to FSU shows how topsy-turvy this league is. And then Deja Fair, the all-time leading scorer among active players in the ACC, she's gone off here in 24.
Yeah, we've seen so much good play by the ACC. There's only 2 undefeated teams left, Virginia Tech.
Who's your biggest title threat in the ACC right now?
I think you've got to go with the defending champs until proven otherwise. I know Virginia Tech lost a couple of games early.
As Pauly off on the 3, Tech has the signature win.
They've got the biggest win of the year, knocking off NC State, I would say. And NC State obviously right up there, Florida State, UNC, Notre Dame. I feel like all 4 of those teams have got a good shot at it.
As Hayes airballs the 3. Now Florida State is 5-1, most wins of any team, and that dynamic of Timpson and Latson, that's a dangerous one too.
Right, and with Latson, you feel like any close game that they're going to be in, she could be the one to take over at the end. She's certainly a contender for ACC Player of the Year.
Right now 6 in the top 25, but there's an offensive foul on Virginia. And we see Notre Dame with Centrone back in the lineup now. It's a much more dangerous 1-2 with Hidalgo as well.
Right. Notre Dame, well, Hidalgo, the freshman, is so talented, and Notre Dame has fought so many injuries, so they've struggled a little bit early. But you know, Coach Nail Ivey has got the ability to lead them. We saw them in the Sweet 16 recently.
And every time you sleep on a Jeff Walls club, they find a way to be back in the top 10. As Brooks comes up short on the 3.
So a lot of contenders in the ACC. It's going to be quite next couple of months.
Johnson on the drive. There's a freshman making a statement. She has a chance to be an all-freshman team performer this year, does Johnson?
I think she's a very strong contender for that. As we mentioned, Hidalgo might go freshman of the year, but
might. She's won it 7 times, freshman of the week.
Yeah, I'm being
approaching the record set by Latson last year, winning it 10 times as Collier earns a foul underneath.
I'm being generous to all the other contenders, but I think we all know it's Hidalgo's to lose at this point.
Think about Latson, first team all conference as a freshman last year. I think Hidalgo's in that conversation.
She definitely is. I believe, depending on how her role changes when some of the injured players come back, but right now she is the star on that team.
Olivia Miles remains out, but Centrone is back, and Hayes stripped underneath. It'll stay here.
You see Virginia with that zone right there on the inbounds was able to sort of collapse underneath. The open spots will be on the wing.
Zoe Brooks, who's in line for an all-ACC freshman type season, finds Hayes. And another tough miss. The size of Virginia here playing a factor.
Yeah, it has, and that's the one drawback without having Baldwin out there is that some teams are going to give NC State trouble.
Good hands by Rivers. Brooks with a convoy, takes it herself. Oh, Zoe Brooks. Outstanding.
Freshman on freshman right there. Zoe Brooks gets the win. We'll take a look at the steal here first by the Pack. Zoe Brooks now, she's got one-on-one. Got Johnson getting twisted up. She tries to get the slap for the block, and Zoe just too strong.
As a shooter, how do you aim for something like that? Like, I don't get how you throw it up and it goes in.
Well, it's probably years and years and years of throwing up some awkward shots and just practicing and getting the English on it. I know Zoe Brooks is
grown up in New Jersey practicing those in the backyard.
Right. She works really hard. Excellent players we know coming out of high school and just has a knack for scoring. Even when you watched her in high school, she just had a knack for putting it in.
That's what the coaching staff calls an old school style of play. Well, her old school is putting up 17 tonight.
Yeah, she's my pick to click to see who gets to 20 first.
Here's Johnson. Great turnovers tonight for the talented freshman. Finds Taylor. That look rattles all the way out, and McGee's got the board. McGee fighting down there. Nothing coming. Last touch by Virginia.
You can see some of the athleticism of Virginia. NC State had great position. McGee just went right up over her, over NC State. Seeing 3 true freshmen on the floor for NC State, developing some.
How valuable are these minutes for Steele and Cox coming off the bench?
Oh, I think it's huge because NC State needs to extend their bench a little bit. And here's Isaiah James with the pull-up 3, showing that she
becomes the 5th in double figures.
Yeah, so I was just going to say that, double figures.
The Wolfpack as a team only in the country was 6 on average in double figures. Of course, no River Baldwin tonight, out with an ankle injury, so it's been others stepping up, like Lacey Steele with 11.
Yeah, 6 different players averaging double figures. That's really unheard of. Obviously, the only team in the country right now doing that, and it's a testament to how deep this team is. And
this has allowed NC State to dominantly outscore opponents this year. What a weapon. How do you utilize that if you're NC State with the balance and the depth offensively?
Well, I think that it gives coach a chance to decide who's got the hot hand on each night, and if one player is struggling, he can work on plays for some other players without having to rely on just one star.
Zoe Brooks, the start tonight, was 17. She'd become the 4th different leading scorer in the conference for NC State, and a miss there by Collins, who led the team the last time these teams met up in Charlottesville.
All right, 3 different leading scorers, all at 20+ in the 3 conference games.
Good rebound, Lauterbach, and that one bounces out. This game has some tempo to it. Wes Moore telling us he wants his team to run, and there's nearly 20 points in transition. Virginia's missed 5 straight shots. Vaughn tries to change it. Nice bucket. Yonta Vaughn, a spark plug here for Virginia.
She really has been, and I think that NC State pushing it in transition here. Another look.
Isaiah James is not slowing down. 13 for the left-handed sharpshooter.
Carter. It looks like Coach Mox was displeased with another transition bucket for the Wolfpack. Has to call another timeout.
It's the Wolfpack up 30 here in this 3rd quarter. We'll come back and wrap things up here in Raleigh. Number 6, NC State, no rust from a loss on Sunday. 5 in double figures for the Wolfpack. They average 6 per game, and what a luxury here for Wes Moore, the balance of their offense.
It really is a luxury, and this is a get-right game for the Pack. They only scored 62 against Virginia Tech. They've already surpassed that, and still in the 3rd quarter tonight. And you just see the talent just oozing out, not just from the 5 veterans, but from the freshmen that have come on the floor. These are valuable minutes. Lacey Steele with 11, Zoe Brooks with 17.
And Mimi Collins is a rebound shy of a double-double as Brooks picks the pocket. Vaughn then commits the foul on the other end.
Nice little theft by Zoe right there. And when she's got one-on-one versus almost anybody, she's going to get to the rim. And that's just a talent that you've seen, as I said, since high school. She just has a knack for getting to the right spots to score and getting it up on the
And you may be wondering, why is Zoe Brooks wearing goggles? It turns out she has vision trouble, and contacts aren't her best friend. So about a month ago, she switched to those goggles. Has been a scoring machine since. Speaking of excitement with vision, we got gymnastics coming up on the ACC network. It's a quad meet. That means all 4 teams are battling it out. North Carolina, Arizona, Boise State, and Nebraska. And the bars, beams, vault, and floor competition. Sign me up for the beams. I can walk across those.
And that's the first ACC, the first year of gymnastics for the ACC as they added Clemson. So now with 4 squads.
And Vaughn shows off her best tightrope. Big 3 for Virginia.
Conference able to sponsor one more sport.
What's your gymnastics event? Are you more a bars guy? You going to swing from bar to bar?
I love the bars. I just like seeing them doing all the flips. And
I love the floor where they explosively jump in the air and then land. Reminds me of UCLA, a dominant gymnastics program.
Right, and for all the fans out there, if you've never been to a quad meet, it is quite entertaining because all 4 events going on at the same time.
Clark in transition looks to put on a show. Nice ball off the window. Virginia, no quitting this team just yet. Isaiah James says, watch this. Good friendly roll as James has 15.
Nice job. We know Isaiah is a lefty, but she went to the right there with a nice smooth pull up. Gets it right over the front of the rim. Virginia can go for the last shot here.
Vaughn fights for space. Burnell. James the steal. NC State's lived in transition. Collecting rent in transition, but no bucket. 3 seconds left. And Smith double dribbled.
Ooh, a double dribble. I didn't catch that, but that's going to give NC State 1.4 seconds.
You don't see that called very often in those last second heave moments.
Right. Looked like she maybe just lost control a little bit, but this gives NC State a chance to work on some of those sideline inbounds plays. You don't always get game situations in practice to feel the same way, so we'll get a good look here.
That's the 14th turnover for Virginia. You're right. 1.4 seconds. What does James have dialed up? Williamson. That does not get off in time, and it ends the third quarter. All NC State tonight. +8 in the third. And the Wolfpack 10 minutes away from sweeping Virginia in the regular season. It's been a raucous environment all year here in Reynolds Coliseum. Record attendance continues for the top 10 NC State Wolfpack. And a neat note here, the season ticket allotment was sold out way before the season even started, Derek. And this home atmosphere, it's brought a new level to NC State this season.
Reynolds Coliseum is such a special place to play, and with the last 12 home games being sold out, as you mentioned, NC State on a current 10-game home winning streak. It's fun for players and teams to come in here and play in front of sold-out arena.
Have won 4 straight at home in the conference as well. And cruising here in the fourth quarter, shooting 51% as a team. Williamson down low, misses the layup. Here's Virginia the other way. The Hoos are third in attendance in the ACC in Charlottesville. And a nice triple for Taylor.
Taylor didn't hit her first 3 until conference play began 3 games ago, and that's her 4th of the season.
A nice added element for Cameron Taylor. And that one, a turnover for Isaiah James.
And Virginia is a traditionally very strong women's basketball program. It's great to see the excitement back in Charlottesville. They had the 13th ranked recruiting class last year, headed by Kamara Johnson, as we've seen tonight. And
would love to get back to the tournament. First time since 2010 for Virginia.
Yes, they got their first top 25 ranking last year after a 12-0 start.
Good ball movement to Clark. It's off on the 3. Virginia last year just 5 wins in the conference, searching for that first. And it'll be a home stretch coming up for UVA.
Well, and UVA in the COVID year only played 5 games, went 0-5. And then only won 5 games the next year. So 15 wins by Coach Mox in her first year, tripled their total from the previous 2 years combined.
Brunell. Both teams a bit cold shooting in this fourth quarter. James, good crossover, then beats one. Oh, the miss. Williamson there to clean it up for NC State.
And there you see Williamson, as we mentioned, getting some valuable minutes in the post.
Becomes the 8th player to score for the Wolfpack. Taylor loves that spot on the court, unable to hit. If you're Virginia right now, Derek, how do you play in rhythm and system here, especially given this frantic start?
Well, I think that some of the things that Coach Mox has taught about working on, like Cameron Taylor not settling for that pull-up jumper, start working on some individual things like driving to the basket, or Brunell hitting the pop-out 3. Just try and clean things up for the next game to be ready.
There's a foul on Virginia. They're covering the screen. UVA will stay in town in Raleigh until Sunday and take on UNC.
Yeah, it's a chance for the team that the Hoos have not gone back to class yet for the spring semester. They got another week, so they're able to stay in town, do some team bonding events, and then play in Carmichael Arena over in Chapel Hill on Sunday.
Courtney Banghart's club, a tough loss tonight against Florida State, but still in the top 25, right back in it.
Tar Heels very talented. Got a chance to see them play against Syracuse last week.
And they battled South Carolina very well for 3 quarters. As Williamson gets a foul on the hook shot.
Yeah, Carolina battled some injuries early. They got a rotation at 10, had 5 different players injured at different points, and so they didn't really get into a rhythm with some losses to 3 ranked teams, but starting to come together for the Heels.
Lizzie Williamson, the WAC Defensive Player of the Year last year in Southern Utah, to the free throw line.
native of Adelaide, Australia. Came a long way to play here for the Pack.
Those frequent flyer miles must be fantastic. A chance here for Lizzie's first free throw as a member of the Wolfpack. Makes it. I don't know if you keep a game ball from your first free throw, but we think about the Bucks Pacers turmoil this season. The first points for the Pacers had Giannis running up the tunnel.
I did hear about that, fighting over the game ball, and at the end, I don't think anybody's sure whether either team had the right ball.
Is a triple-double worthy of keeping the ball if you're Zoe Brooks in her game against Liberty a couple weeks back?
If it was me, I would have grabbed one. So don't know for sure.
The three.
I think you only get presented with the game ball when you hit like about 1,000 points, but I certainly would have wanted to keep that one.
Tough look for Clark. The English too strong.
Sanaya Rivers going to come back in, get some more minutes. As you mentioned, valuable minutes for the freshmen. There's 3 freshmen on the floor right now. Maddie Cox, Lacey Steele, Zoe Brooks for the Wolfpack. Virginia mostly with their starters.
Taylor tripped into Williamson. Thankfully everyone's okay. This is the most points the Wolfpack have scored in conference play since late February of last season. Erupting for 84. That one just short from the freshman steal.
Lacey matched her career high in the first half, trying to break it here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, both teams are firing up shots here in the fourth. Zoe Brooks, good handles, and she gets poked in the face. Looks like the goggles may be thrown aside for a second.
Right, she had the hesitation dribble, sort of got Virginia on their heels, and then on the attack there. We'll take a look. The hesitation dribble gets Taylor to stand straight up, and then she'll get bumped.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Not just bumped. That's the old Rock'em Sock'em robot.
Yeah.
Their swing to the face. Not intentional, of course, but what was your favorite board game growing up? I was Hungry Hungry Hippo myself.
Oh, now I've got to think about it.
How about Twister? You could spin around, get a couple color combinations.
Twister's pretty awesome. Monopoly.
How about this find to Taylor for 3? That's a good look.
That's her second 3 of this game, and to add that weapon to her game with all the things she can do in the post and the drive, she's now turning into a 3-level scorer that's going to be valuable for Virginia.
NC State playing with Monopoly number type numbers. 9 triples, 5 in double figures. A turnover here for Steele.
Here's Cameron Taylor on the cookout, or on the.
Are you thinking milkshakes already, my friend?
Yeah,
North Carolina, the home of cookout.
Let's get a post-game milkshake there. On the kick out, was able to make the 3.
I love your brains out. All about the food.
Yeah, let's get a cookies and cream shake over to the table.
I'm on a diet, my friend. You got to be careful this time of the year. Cameron Johnson. There's an offensive foul on the Taylor slip.
Much to the dismay of Coach Mox there. They're trying to run a horn set where...
And Taylor has just fouled out.
I hadn't followed that, but Taylor, as we mentioned, this is her second conference game fouled out. 18 total fouls in 4 games. That's only 2 away from the max. So that's something that Coach Mox has talked about, trying to avoid the foolish fouls.
And noted playing smart, too, under pressure.
Right. She's so talented that you just want to have her on the floor.
NC State has played so well in transition tonight. 32 fast break points. I missed that time.
Zoe playing with the goggles up on that particular play.
Clark into the body, and that's offensive. A charge drawn by NC State. Their first of the night for Maddie Cox, the freshman out of Flower Mound, Texas. You ever been to Flower Mound, Texas? 1,000-foot-high mounds all across the city.
I have not been there, but I know.
If you're a fan of photography, it's a great place to go.
Coach Moore from the Texas area and loves his Dallas Cowboys and tries to recruit down there whenever he gets a chance.
Wes Moore directing traffic for his offense that has scored 84 points. They've last scored 90 back in February of last season against Syracuse. Steele. Hayes with a line drive 3. So Madison Hayes 3 of 7 from deep.
And nice job by Steele there, not forcing it, tried to get to the basket, drew the defense as they collapsed, was able to kick it right back out to Madison.
Here's Sam Brunell. And an armbar foul on Mallory Collier, who checks in. We'll take our final media timeout of the night. Number 6 NC State right back in the win column. 5 in double figures for the Wolfpack. What an electric night for the true freshman. 19 points for Zoe Brooks.
Yeah, Zoe right here you see hitting her first 3 that she's made in ACC competition, and then underneath against Sam Brunel, and then we'll see her again in transition. She has really pushed the ball. When she gets a one-on-one opportunity, she is very difficult to stop. Such a talented player. We say it all the time, but one of the best freshmen in the country, the 5'11" freshman from Plainfield, New Jersey.
And this is the signature game for Brooks. A career high 19 points tonight.
Yeah, the signature, and I like the signature glasses above the eyes. She played the last minute just like that.
That'll be trending on social media tonight as there's a travel for McGee. With Brooks playing at this level, how does this change things offensively for NC State?
Well, it gives a chance. You know, Sanaya Rivers played 40+ minutes in the last 3 games. It gives a chance. Coach Moore trusts Zoe to play the point and give Sanaya a breather if she needs it, so that Sanaya can play at that speed that she's used to playing.
Good steal force by Virginia. Johnson hangs in there and misses. Katie Penuetta has come in for NC State with a foul here underneath.
I think it also just makes it difficult for other teams to match up, because Sanaya Rivers, Zoe Brooks, and Isaiah James, they all 3 can penetrate so well. There aren't many teams in the country that are going to have 3 perimeter players that can face up and stop every one of them.
Not to mention 5 in double figures tonight for the Wolfpack. Showing no ill effects from Sunday's loss at Virginia Tech. Johnson fouled on the drive.
That's a classic freshman mistake there by Mallory Collier.
Keeping those hands down.
Right. She was sliding her feet, great position, but it's an automatic whistle if you put 2 hands on the hand check. If she'd have just kept her hands up, she'd have been able to shut down that drive without the foul.
A couple of quick fouls for Collier. And Johnson can't buy a bucket in the second half.
But that's one of those learning moments for freshmen. That's why these minutes are so valuable, is that she won't make that same mistake in a game that's going to be closer as the year goes on.
Now Collier is a battering ram down low, bullying Brunel, and the flip off the window.
That was pretty.
That freshman's growing up tonight, Derek.
Freshman out of Memphis, Tennessee is really showing what she can do. And it was a combination. It was the power, the back down, and then the finesse. Let's take a quick look here.
I mean, look at this.
Right. So much power. You just think she's going to muscle it up, and then just the nice little flip.
3 steps forward, 1 step back. Quick like a turtle, lie on your back. Vin Diesel, pacifying.
There you go, getting our lyrics in.
Whatever keeps us entertained here on a fun Thursday night for basketball. McGee draws the foul on the drive.
Bit of a tougher call there. I thought Sanaya was.
And this style, though, for Virginia, being aggressive, attacking the basket, something did not happen against Duke. We're seeing more of it in the second half tonight.
We really are, and I think that's where they're going to excel. We talked about it not just with Taylor, but don't settle for that mid-range jumper. They've struggled from 3 the last 3 games. Don't settle for that. Really attack. Get the other team in foul trouble. Get themselves a free throw line, because we know they're an excellent free throw shooting team. That
was a resounding cheer for Madison Hayes subbing out for the final time. And Rivers goes down hard. Bodies everywhere, and Mallory Collier comes out with it. NC State will gear up for a road trip down to Miami. It's a very up and down Hurricane squad, 1-2 in the league.
And NC State this weekend will get that bye to really regroup. Just get some energy, because it's all ACC games down the stretch from there on out.
Steele late in the clock. Nice finish from the freshman, 13.
There it is, the career high for Lacey Steele as she gets to 13. Nice left-handed finish.
13 going on 30 if you're Steele tonight, as that ball's way off. And over the back foul on McGee. This balance, though, NC State has not scored 90 in a conference game in 2 years. February of 22. This is a big night.
It really is, and those are some quality Wolfpack teams that haven't made that. And so it just goes to show the balance of this team, the talent on this team, and they just came out with a different energy level.
Listen to this crowd send off Sanaya Rivers.
You see the big smile for Sanaya there as she high-fives her teammates, and the crowd appreciating the effort by the Pack and Sanaya tonight.
Rivers, the lone starter, not in double figures, but did so many other things right.
Right, she got 7 assists for the Wolfpack, 6 points.
Katie Penuetta searching for her first career free throw as a member of the Wolfpack.
And give her some credit playing defense on Kamora Johnson, forcing Kamara into a 6 of 17 night.
Taylor has fouled out for Virginia, fresh off an ACC high, 22 points.
Kamara.
So McGee takes affirmative action and banks it in. Nice finish.
You can see how talented McGee is. Very nice drive to the basket.
One of the NC State walk-ons, Jenna Ayesa, with the ball, and she just lost it. But Collier there to help it out. There are bodies slipping everywhere. Instead, it leads to a breakout, and Clark to the window. Able to keep her composure in some traffic there.
Virginia going with the full court press, really.
Ayesa's doubled, and that ball will go out of bounds.
Virginia playing hard. Olivia McGee, a freshman forward, also out of the Charlottesville area. Number 45 recruit in the ESPN rankings in 2023. So she's got talent for sure.
Nearing the final 2 minutes here in Raleigh, NC State will move to 3-1 in the conference, have Sunday off, back in action Thursday. Virginia will head to Carolina this weekend. And what is now a must-win game if you're the Hoos against UNC. Lawson the other way, fouled on the drive. And more free throws here for Virginia.
NC State has emptied their bench, and Lacey Steele pushed into a point guard role that she hasn't played much, if at all, this season. But with Brooks and James and Rivers on the bench, giving her a shot to handle the ball.
As Lawson makes the first free throw. Coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, our women's basketball doubleheader. After that, we have the Nothing But Net crew. Will break down the night of action, including Florida State's big win over UNC. That's coming up on ACC Network. I'm curious what Muffin McGraw has to say about Notre Dame, now back with Cintrone and Hidalgo working together.
Right, the ladies of the ACC on the ACC Network. I love listening to their evaluations of Thursday night games.
Only 2 undefeated teams left in the conference, Vatech and Louisville now. Rolling at 3-0.
And as you said, never sleep on a Coach Walls, Jeff Walls team.
Collier unable to hold her pivot foot, and the 10th turnover of the night for the Wolfpack.
I got a chance to see Louisville earlier in the year, and they've got a lot of transfers as they've had the last couple years, so it takes a while to get in that rhythm. But you can see that now the conference play has started, they're really starting to come into their own.
Here's Johnson for 3. Virginia struggling from deep tonight. Here's a chance for Ayesa. Nice time to Collier. Gets her own board and lost it out of bounds.
Excellent 2-on-1 right there, but with Lauterbach, the 6'7" grad student for Virginia, it was tough to get that shot up.
NC State 8 points away from the century mark. Something they have not done in the conference in over 30 years. Think about that. Here's a kick out to Johnson. She lets it fly. It's been a rough shooting night for the Hoos. Final minute here in Raleigh. Lauterbach swings it. Good time there for Johnson, and the assist numbers pick up. That's the 4th of the night for the freshman.
Really good vision right there, and drove to the basket and found it.
NC State without River Baldwin once again with that ankle injury. No problem. 5 in double figures for Wes Moore's club. Collier begs for it. Steele into the lane. Nice movement here late in the clock. And a reach and foul. Even late in the game, you're up 30. That's got to test a defense so much.
Right, and a testament to the Wolfpack staying true to what they do and sharing the basketball even in the last minute. It's been an impressive night for NC State. Really just
19 assists.
19 assists. Showing how they share the basketball. They push in transition. They play together. They're having fun. And this is a team that, despite that loss to Virginia Tech, is right in the mix for trying to win that ACC regular season crown.
So 93 points for the Wolfpack, who snap a 2-minute scoring drought. The rare blip on the radar, an excellent night offensively. Lauterbach unable to hit, and this should close things up here at Raleigh. Ayesa able to break the press, and it's all Wolfpack tonight, leading wire to wire. They scored in the first 5 seconds and did not take the gas pedal off. 93 points for West Moore's club, and back in the win column with a 93-point outing and a dominant win over Virginia tonight in Raleigh.
NC State made quite a statement tonight that they are for real in this league, and that one loss is not going to define them. They didn't let a team beat them twice. Great night for the Wolfpack, and they're back in the win column.
NC State 5 straight home wins in the conference and a 12-game home winning streak for West Moore. Thank you for joining us here in Raleigh. NC State back in the win column, 3-1 in the ACC. Virginia drops to 0-4. For Derek Jordan, our talented crew led by Lucas Raycraft, I'm Evan Budrovich. Big night for offense here. 5 in double figures for the Wolfpack. They cruise to a 27-point win. This is a presentation of ESPN as we say good night from Raleigh.